What's going on, everybody? Toby coming at you, and today is the 12th of July. Today, today's the 12th. This will mess you up really bad. Today's the 12th. Tomorrow's the 13th. The 13th marks 23 weeks post-surgery. The last video you saw from me was on the 22nd of June. Excuse me if I cough a lot. I'll explain that in a moment. 22 June was the last one you saw from me, and that was at 20 weeks post-surgery. So what has been going on since then, since the last video, and why haven't I been weekly or even bi-weekly, right? Or every couple of weeks. So I'll explain a little bit. First of all, I wasn't ever guaranteeing that I was going to do a video every single week. I would do them as I felt they were kind of necessary, or needed to point things out or highlight some stuff to either both family, to keep people updated on my condition and recovery, and also for anybody out there who is going through similar circumstances. So I'm not trying to say I don't owe y'all anything. I'm saying sometimes I'm learning also that the hard part is I might have content or things I want to talk about to you all or to my family, but how to say them, how to present them in a way that doesn't sound like somebody who's doing a car salesman's talk, or that I'm just getting on here to get on here, just to create a video for you, to bore you to watch. So I don't want to do that. So anyway, the reasons why for the last 3 weeks are, so the 22nd was the last video, like I said. The 29th of June, that weekend, I drove down to Athens, Georgia, about 430 plus miles one way, so a little over 800, between 800 and 900 miles there and back. Okay, I drove down Thursday, came back on Saturday. So it wasn't a turn and burn, but yeah, so I'll get to that in a second. So that weekend I went to Athens, Georgia. That was for the Combat Vets Motorcycle Association. That was the event, the weekend or the week of the national event, okay, for all the members to come together nationally in one location, globally in one location. The Veterans of Foreign Wars does it. The American Legion does it. Most of your organizations out there, Shriners, take your pick, they do have some kind of an annual national convention. So the 29th of June was ours. The 6th of July was the 4th of July weekend for me. And then this weekend, of course, is tomorrow's the 13th of July. So I'll get into the details a little bit. As I said, I drove down to Athens, Georgia, combination of between 800 and 900 miles there and back, and from where our national convention, our national event was, I got a hotel about 9/10 of a mile away from there. So I walked from the hotel up to the event, and I walked back several times between Friday and Saturday. There was I looked at my pedometer on here after I finished walking, and between Thursday I drove to a bike night thing out there when I got in there, and then Friday drove to another bike night piece that was for national. Thursday's bike night thing was for our chapter here in Kentucky for Kentucky 1-2. Friday was the national bike night, and when I wasn't at those two locations, I was walking, and I collectively walked about 15 miles in the national convention area, walking up to restaurants or whatever, walking up to the convention area, back, etc., etc. That was a lot of stuff. And then again, I went by myself. And the thing to point out here is, not to point out, but the thing that was emphasized to me also by friends and family was, I drove my truck. I really wanted to do a motorcycle ride down there, and I was thinking, heck yeah, I'm going to do this, right? But I think I pointed it out in that last video that I rode to Lexington for McStash's 22 Vets in 22 Days. I rode to there from here, and that's about 90 miles one way. I felt great with that, but it started having me question longer distances. Because for those that don't know, when you ride a motorcycle, it's just like kind of this. It's similar just as if you're in a car, only you're stationary in one position on that bike, and you don't have a lot of flexibility to move. The operator does not. So where in a car, in a vehicle, we've seen people, you'll be driving your steering wheel, you'll reach across to get something, or you can reach down to grab a bottle of water or something, or you can even open up a bag of chips or whatever while you're driving. I'm not saying that things are safe. I'm just saying people do this, right? They'll eat food while they're driving, and I mean, people will admittedly consume meals while they're driving, right? We've seen unsafe drivers out there that will do their makeup in the vehicle in traffic and driving. I'm not going down that rabbit hole. My point is, you have more flexibility and safety in a car, right? In a vehicle. So I elected not, because of the way I felt after riding to Lexington, again, 90 miles one way and back to 180 miles there and back total. I was feeling some minor tightness and strain in my chest area, and I felt physically tired, wore out, okay? When I came home that day, I was tired. I crashed and fell asleep on the couch. So if you can imagine, that's 190 miles. That's it. There and back with an hour or two hanging out, whatever we did, at Man of War Harley-Davidson while the event was going on, right? Had some time where I sat and talked or whatever. This would have been a 400 plus miles, 433, I think, the route I took. One way, stopping only when I get gas, and then braking and just taking a break for gas and maybe food for 20 to 30 minutes. Now, granted, I have the freedom to pull over and stop and stretch whenever I want to, but in that kind of a circumstance, your intention is trying to get from point A to point B, right? So ultimately, I elected to drive my truck down there, which was fine. I just think that riding my motorcycle would have been a bit more taxing than my condition and my current physical fitness level and stamina and tolerance to riding a motorcycle was ready for. So I drove down there. Like I said, walked all over the place, drove to a couple of bike night things, and drove back. I drove back Saturday after the convention. The convention ended around 1 or between, I think, 12 and 2, sometime in that frame. I got on the road by 3 and got home back here by 11 o'clock p.m. Saturday night, okay? Yes, it was pushing it. It was. I'm not going to get into an argument whether it was safe or not safe. I was careful. I took precautions, all the above. So the point is, got back, wore out, okay? I went to work on Monday, and so that was leading into 4th of July week, right? So I worked Monday, worked Tuesday, and then I worked Wednesday. I was off. I took vacation time on Thursday, so I had Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday off. So 5 straight days, y'all. 5 days where I tried to, let's just say this, I tried to rest, okay? I tried to recover, but what I did was, and this is a part I'm going to cover on diet, rest, activity, and lifestyle, right? So I'm learning with this recovery, with the surgery, with me just in general, and as we get older, it doesn't matter if you're surgery or not, unless you are in like athletic, pro level athletic condition, you hit the gym 2 to 3, 5 days a week, and your health and your body and your diet and everything are perfect lifestyle, which for me they're not. When you do things that are arguably healthy, debatably healthy, it's going to affect your body. And as you get older, it's going to affect your body. Not only is it going to affect your body more, it's going to require more recovery time than it would if you were 18 to 25 or even 35. So 4th of July weekend, we didn't go to any fireworks displays, but we walked a lot out here, and we decided to binge watch movies on, I think, Thursday night or Friday night. We didn't go to bed and watched it with our daughter. I can't remember what we binge watched. I think it was Back to the Future. I think we decided to hell with it and watch Back to the Future, 2 of them. And we binge watched and stuff and didn't finish until after 1 o'clock in the morning. Okay? So I was recovering, lethargic and everything Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and continued to work, whatever, continued to function, do things, went to church, and Monday, relax, whatever. And then this past week was just working. But again, like I said, when you spend 5 straight days of just kind of relaxing, but you are hanging out with family, watching a lot of movies, whatever. My wife's over there dancing, doing a little jig trying to make me laugh and smile, and I did. She got it. You won. You got it. But we walked a lot around the neighborhood and ate junk food, okay? Don't judge me. So, I mean, y'all, honestly, be real about this. So every so often, we are very, very strict on our diets, what we eat, okay? I had to make that choice after my surgery, after my heart stuff, the heart surgery and everything. So it's like we don't do red meat. We don't do foods with a lot of sugars in them. We don't do foods with a lot of sodium and salt in them. We're very careful on all of that all the time. So once in a while, we'll say, you know what, the hell with it. I want something sweet, or I want this, or I want to go for a fast food place, whatever. I just and have it. The doctors told me, and they'll tell you the same thing, that they want you should, for all intents and purposes, remove 99.9% of red meat out of your diet entirely. Okay, so in my mind, I'm thinking, okay, so if I have something with red meat in it, or something made of red meat 5 times a year, that's less than 99.9%, right? Out of 3 meals a day. You do the math. I'm not wasting time with it. So, like I said, the point is, with the pain, everything that came from binging that weekend, spending it, and I realized this for work as well, during the work days, I wasn't going to bed until after 10, 11 o'clock at night. That catches up to you, especially if you're still, I'm just now 6 months out from, not even, just about 6 months out from surgery recovery. Incidentally, stay with me here, because we're going to talk about the next video I do. That's going to be next week's video, 24 weeks, 6 months in. I'm going to tell you about what I'm going to talk about. So, all right, enough of that public service announcement. So like I said, it's diet, rest, activity, and lifestyle, guys, folks out there. This is what I'm saying, is that whatever it is you're going to do on those things, those categories, it's going to affect you. More so with this stuff going on now, especially as you get older, and the recovery from it is going to take longer. So you do whatever is within your ability, you think you're able to do within your shape, your strength, your exercise regime, whatever the case is. Starting from last week, after the 4th of July Monday and all that kind of the weekend, the 5 days I took off the Monday, I started, my immune system felt compromised. I felt very weak all week. I still have it. I even tested myself. It wasn't COVID, but I was like, I don't know if I've come into contact with anybody. But just to be on the safe side, there's a new strain out there. They're calling it Razor. Whatever the hell it is, I don't, go with whatever your natural medicines are, your natural beliefs are. The fact that they call it out there, I'm not going down that rabbit hole. My point is, I felt like crap. My throat and everything felt like crap. I got to the point where last night I wasn't even using my CPAP machine because the air force is down. Makes the throat and the nasal passages raw, and it hinders my sleep. So I didn't sleep with that last night, and for the first time all week I took some NyQuil at night before I go into bed. I'm not a fan of that either. The reason being is because I've taken the NyQuil gel caps, and they don't bother me. They do what they're supposed to do for me, but except they don't coat the throat or make the throat feel very, they don't make it feel better per se. But I don't like the liquid NyQuil because it makes me feel lethargic and, I want to say hungover, but just, can't remember the word I used this morning. Groggy. I felt groggy. I felt lethargic. I felt kind of hungover, but without the alcohol hungover feel. It was like you're waking up and you're just disoriented and, felt sleepy and whatever. So, but it did help with my throat and nasal and breathing and everything last night. So, the only couple of things I'm going to cover on this real quick are thank you to the two. I'm going to put two things out here. First of all, the first comment is somebody commented in I think last week, the 20 weeks video, asking if there were any websites or resources out there for caregivers of people who have had heart attacks or have had open heart surgery. Okay. And so all I did was Google, possible resources for caregivers, okay? And I'm going to put these websites, I'm going to put them across the screen here as I talk, and I'm also going to put them in the description below. But one was www.heart.org, one was healthwellfoundation.org, no spaces, no periods, nothing, just all one type, healthwellfoundation.org. Another one was caregiver. This is mainly for vets. If you're a caregiver for a veteran, caregiver.va.gove/support. And then the last one I saw on it, like this was a cursory search, a real quick search, was just supportnetwork.heart.org. I have no idea what resources they offer. These were the top references that came up doing a Google search for possible resources for caregivers of CABG patients. Those are caregivers for patients who went through the grafting and grafting arterial bypass surgery is what that is. Okay, so. I hope that answers your questions for the person who posted the question. Hopefully if you don't find it by this, hopefully you've already found some answers and resources for you. But if not, check those out. Maybe they'll help. Keep us posted in the comments there. Let us know if it helps out if you found something. If you found something better, please also share that in the comments. I also had somebody hit me up, a veteran. My hat's off to you and my salute to you, sir. He hit me up on Facebook Messenger, and I want to emphasize and say, folks, I've said this before. If you have questions, you want to reach out to me. I'm on Discord. I'm on Instagram. I'm on Facebook. I'm on, hit me up on any of those things. You're welcome to. I don't have a problem with it. If I can answer your question or point you in the right direction, I will try to my best to do so. But he had some very good questions. This gentleman is about to go experience open heart surgery later this month. My prayers are with you. He asked, one question he asked was, and I'm going to put the questions up here, and hopefully I capture these and remember these. I should have written them down, but I didn't. One was, did your CPAP machine, do I drink? Right? He asked have I drank alcohol since after the surgery. And then he asked about if I have a CPAP machine, if I have sleep apnea. So the first question, yes, I drank before surgery. I drank socially. So like occasionally if my chapter is having an event, or maybe I might have a drink of something here at home, but I was not a heavy drinker that drank every single night. Hello, you can keep moving. It's my daughter over here. She's looking in the fridge. But like I said, I wasn't a habitual drinker, nothing crazy. But yes, I did drink before. I have not had a drink at all since surgery. I wouldn't mind it, but I don't want to take any unnecessary risks with all the medications I'm taking right now. When the time comes, if I feel like it and they say, hey, you shouldn't have any issues, of course the doctors are going to tell you, you shouldn't drink at all, right? But if at the end of the day, after a year of going through this or whenever, and the doctor says, be careful, you can have alcohol, but we suggest you don't, even though you can, I might. Right now, I don't have any, want or desire to have a drink. I really don't care. I haven't thought about it really right now. So, do I have a sleep apnea machine? Yes, I do. I do have sleep apnea, and yes, I've used it. So his question was also, how did that work in the hospital? And that might be, I don't know. Where am I? Can you do me a favor real quick and look over here on the back side to see how much time is into the video? So if there's not much...
Where is it? 21, 36, 37.
Okay, so we're already 20 minutes into this. So I will... I don't really... I'll just say yes, I have a sleep apnea machine. Yes, it played a part in... while I was at the hospital after surgery. I'll go into that later. I already explained it to him a little bit in the private message, so I will cover that next week. And the third question he asked me, I'll cover that in the next week too, because that was kind of a funny one. His question was, and I'll answer it next week, so cliffhanger. He asked me if I had any issues going number 2, and if I had to have help going number 2 by my spouse or any family members or friends or loved ones or whatever. So that's all I'm going to say about it now. That's going to be a cliffhanger for y'all. Come back and check this out again for week 24 post-surgery. That'll be 6 months since my surgery. And what I'm going to do is I'll answer those things, but I'm also going to cover some stuff that might be sensitive for folks. My plan is to reveal my scar here on my chest and on my legs. And I'm going to talk about it. I'm going to go a little bit into depth how they feel, how the feeling on the chest is, a little more closely than what I have since my surgery. So, again, thank you all so much for the questions, the support. Take care of yourselves. Body, diet, exercise, lifestyle, sleep, all of it. I am learning so much, 51 years old, 51 and a half, and either I knew this stuff already or I wasn't paying attention to it, because, between 18 and 25, we think we're immortal, right? We're invincible. So, and we don't listen to our better halves or anybody when they try to tell us to cool off or calm down or make better decisions. We don't listen to our parents for dang sure, let alone God. So, anyway, again, if you have any questions, anything, put them in the comments below. You are welcome to hit me up through Facebook Messenger, through Instagram. I'm here. I just want to help. So, love you all. Thank you so much for following. Thank you so much for staying tuned. I hope if this is helping even one person, then it reaffirms why I've made these videos, along with informing and keeping my family members and loved ones updated. So, again, until the next video, y'all, next week, stay tuned. Love y'all. Take care. God bless you.